Welcome back to the fourth episode of Night Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Dutiful. Um, so tomorrow is Super Bowl 58, and I'm just kind of making this episode as sort of a little rant. This will probably be like one of the only episodes without my co-host Reno. Um, but I just wanted to go on a little rant about just how the NFL's been treating the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're making profit off of it. Yeah, like do whatever you need to make money, but still, I just need to I just need to talk, all right? So, like I said, Super Bowl's tomorrow. But the only one of the big issues I have is that the Kansas City Chiefs are like the biggest division rivals of Oakland, Las Vegas, Los Angeles Raiders. But also the San Francisco 49ers are our rivals from the Bay Area when we were in Oakland. So for Raiders fans like me, it's not really an ideal matchup for a Super Bowl. But also, I feel like Kansas City is getting too much praise for having just a good overall team, but the NFL and other insiders aren't addressing the weak points of Kansas City. I feel like one of their biggest weak points, at least right now, is their secondary. Their secondary only really consists of their starters are Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, who's her? I have their depth chart pulled up. Justin Reed and Mike Edwards. I'm gonna be honest, I've never heard the name Mike Edwards, but if we take a look at stats, so let's say L'Jarius Sneed. So on the season, he has 78 tackles and 14 passes defended. But in the postseason, he only has 14 tackles, 12 of them being solo. He does have 2 assists, though. He doesn't have any interceptions. He doesn't have any tackles for loss. He doesn't have anything else in the postseason. So that's where I feel like one of the biggest issues is with Kansas City. I mean, I hope it stays like that. I'm a Raiders fan. I hope that they continue to suck. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but I mean, Mahomes is a generational talent, and dealing with that in the AFC West is going to be tough. With Trent McDuffie, though, he has 80 tackles on the year. He has 3 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, and 7 passes defended. This is the entire year. But in the postseason, he only has 9 tackles, 6 solo tackles, and 3 assists. All right? So if you look at that from this is stats too. This is ESPN stats. So maybe that's not that could be somewhere where someone like Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Jawan Jennings could attack Kansas City in the Super Bowl. I mean, Brock Purdy having a killer game against Detroit. So I think that I have the 49ers winning just because I'd rather see someone else win other than our division rivals, and also I don't want them to go back to back. That doesn't At least we beat them on Christmas. But besides, I like actual stats and football and everything. The other issue I want to address is the big name, Taylor Swift. I That pains me still. She is currently. I've seen it all over Twitter. She's currently on a flight from Japan to Tokyo, Japan to Las Vegas right now. And Las Vegas, I'll just say this before, is absolutely packed right now. I was looking the other night at the Tropicana from a login date today. Well, not login, but check-in date today and a checkout date Monday. It would be $378 a night, one person, queen size bed. It's crazy out there. And you guys might have seen this floating around. There is a video of a woman trying to buy snacks on that tunnel from the Mandalay Bay to Allegiant Stadium, and it was costing $20. So not only is the Super Bowl, or it's not the team's fault, it's just that Vegas is expensive, and you can't really control it, if that makes sense. But let's go back to the other subject. So I feel like the NFL is making a bunch of money off of Swift, and I mean, yeah, do what makes you money, you know? But it's just like the thing is also the people who are announcing the Super Bowl are Tony Romo and Jim Nance, and Jim Nance and Tony Romo never stop talking about Mahomes. Chiefs defense could be out there. Oh, look at that! Looks like Mahomes. Whatever, dude. Like Tony Romo is. I don't like him as an announcer. I mean, I didn't like him as a quarterback either. I mean, I wasn't really alive when he was a quarterback, but I've seen film, and I don't. I he didn't look like as good as the hype was built up to be. Um, but I feel like that's going to be another issue. Is the cameras are going to be constantly on Swift. And I know I seen the articles, oh, she only got 49 seconds of screen time. But it's the Super Bowl, and with someone with that caliber of fame, you can't really ignore that. You know, especially someone that just surpassed being a billionaire and won however many Grammys. I didn't really watch the Grammys. I watched like the first little bit. But I just feel like the worst part is it's going to be in Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, which is home to the Las Vegas Raiders, which I happen to be a fan of. I've been a fan since Oakland. I've been to the Coliseum. It's a historic franchise. I love Al Davis, Dave Casper, Ken Stabler, Tim Brown, Jim Otto, Ray Guy, a bunch of old Raiders. I've done research on them. I have Jim Plunkett, Ken Stabler, uh, Tim Brown. I even have a Bill Romanowski jersey. You know, this is a historic franchise, and it just sucks that when one of your rivals comes in to try to win the what honestly one of the biggest broadcast events in the world. I do think that the Raiders will be competitive next year now that they hired head coach Antonio Pierce, general manager Tom Telesco, and also a bunch of different staff. I feel like it's going to be a very different team next year, but I feel like they are going to be competitive. They are going to probably try to pursue one of the top draft picks to secure Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams, which would help a lot. I mean, the problem is with first round QBs, especially like the first and second overall picks, is that they're usually drafted to a team with not a lot of talent. Look at Bryce Young this past year. He ended up being on the worst team in the NFL because they didn't have offensive weapons for him. Their offensive line was terrible. His wide receiver one was Adam Thielen. I don't even know who their tight end is. So you gotta be able to have talent to surround a rookie, especially quarterback. And in the case of the Raiders, you already have Devontae Adams, in my opinion, the best receiver in the league. You have Colton Miller, a really good left tackle. Max Crosby, in my opinion, the best edge rusher in the National Football League. When you also have at wide receiver two, Jacoby Myers coming off of a killer year with the Raiders, and also having maybe Josh Jacobs. They are going to try to re-sign him. He could take a team-friendly deal, but it's not certain that he could come back. Another thing I want to address is just, I don't know how to explain this. I'm not editing this, by the way, so I'm sorry if I'm stuttering and everything. It's just I feel like I need to get this out there, you know, and I feel like the podcast is going to be the best way to get it out. Um, but another thing is like it. This is more of a regular season issue, but I feel like whenever the Raiders host a home game, we have 8 next year. There's always it's not it's like 60-40 with fans when it should be like I don't know like 80-20, especially for home games because Vegas is such a popular attraction spot. A bunch of people are able to fly in, and also the Raiders have built such a huge fan base in California to where not a lot of people moved with them to Vegas because of one, the expenses, because I know California is expensive, but Vegas is just as expensive, but also because there's already too many people there, already too many tourists. It's loud, and some parts are a little, iffy. So I have a feeling that's why. I don't even know what I'm going to title this episode. It's just rant. That's probably what I'm going to title it. There's not even going to be background music. Um, but I just feel like, the NFL is focused again, like, too much on the Kansas City Chiefs. And it really does suck if you're a fan of another team, because now they're starting to. Their fans are doing pretty much what the Patriots did with the Patriots dynasty, which is they're bandwagoning now. They're starting to be more and more Kansas City fans, like, popping up everywhere. Like, here in Denver, Colorado, I mean, I see a bunch of Kansas City Chiefs jerseys, and it's crazy because you think, Colorado, you'd see more Bronco jerseys. You see them, but you don't see them as much as Kansas City jerseys or Kansas City hats, like. And especially in Denver, it's very rare to come across a Raiders fan, especially where I'm from. I know two Raider fans, and the reason I know them is because it's one in a few. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are below in the Q&A section about uh, Taylor Swift, the Chiefs, and if it is the new dynasty. Um, but yeah, that's my rant. Thanks for listening to Night Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Dutiful Random Things, Good Times. Talk to you later. Peace.